Hello, in good faith, a cordial, respectful salute or greeting, a verbal greeting to the owners of the GoFundMe account app. Thank you for having given me the opportunity to set up an account. Know that I have received and raised zero from the recent GoFundMe account fundraiser that I organized, and there are numerous reasons as I have explained through the fundraiser and have over explained, including through a variety of social media, and have explained also on a prior video of us being discouraged from this GoFundMe fundraiser that I had established, and other very important additional circumstances affecting us. In good faith, it's the decision of the people that establish accounts. I don't know if in the future I will try to establish another account. I deleted the recent first and up-to-date only fundraiser that I had established through GoFundMe account. Again, I say zero was raised. We received zero, nothing. And I make these clarifications in the event that there's some people might have donated and if there were possible schemes or something like that, well, please make claims, report it, because we didn't receive anything. Now, very important information is the following. I tried to make an initial donation to my own account with a few cents that I had left through a payment, and I wouldn't be setting up a fundraiser if we wouldn't have been of special circumstances like we are, and through severe hardships and with extreme needs and so much pain affecting us. It's obvious that we need way much more than this. I don't know how to ask with fraud for assistance or with lies or scheming or scamming. I've insisted with as much truth as possible, innocent either the people that don't believe me or the people that have ingrates to me or discrimination. I'm very affected. I had to delete this GoFundMe account for numerous, not the account itself, but this first and up-to-date only fundraiser that I had established. It caused me pain, a lot of tension, and so much harm, intimidation, and injustices, damage to us that has been including by racist correspondents persecuting us and affecting our rights, affecting our identities. I mean, if a way or another they were going to manage to, as before, steal from us, including donations we received through here. Maybe God knows why there was zero donations. And I chose it was the right thing to do, to delete such fundraiser. And these are some of several already explained reasons. And through this video, I will proceed to explain additional mathematical explanations or reasons regarding why I deleted my first and up-to-date only GoFundMe fundraiser. This is the month of May, year 2022, third millennium. I will proceed to explain 3 scenarios that will prove that it is not free. It is not free for account holders at the point we start receiving donations, and it is not free for donors either. So it's false that it's free in that perspective. I need to verify to see if having an account without any fundraisers is free or if there's additional fees, because if there's additional fees, we'll obviously have to immediately delete it too, but the way I've read into it, having the account itself is free, but the moment you give it use to receive donations, that's when the fees and the start applying and so forth. But here's the first scenario. Okay, I had set up a goal of 555,555 dollars. If someone, for example, would have done a one-time donation of 2.9%, that would have been $16,111.095 rounded to 0.10. And a 15% expected tip from that amount would have been $83,333.25. And if it would have been a one-time lump sum donation, for example, that would have been that 30% additional fee. Doing the mathematical sum of such amounts, $16,111.10 plus $83,333.25 plus 30 cents would have been $99,444.65, which averages to approximately 17.9 to nearly 18% of a gain or profit they would have made if someone would have, for example, done a one-time lump sum donation of the whole amount, which well proves it would have not been free for me, and it would have definitely not been free for the donors. And in addition to that, they would make so much more money through numerous donations because these fees are per transaction, per donation. And that of the 15% expected tip, I experienced that myself, and I was unable to put my first donation to myself through because I couldn't afford it. It wouldn't allow me to bring it down to zero. It kept on automatically populating that 15% tip. So proceeding with the following example, I was very frustrated trying to delete the account since yesterday and early morning. I don't know why the app wouldn't allow me. So I temporarily, while I was having trouble, or basically it wasn't allowing me to, I tried to reducing the donation amount to zero. It didn't allow that either. Populated a minimum of $1. They did a calculation of $1. If someone would have donated a lump sum amount, a one-time donation of $1, for example, meaning that goal, then 2.9% out of $1 is 2.9 cents. That's usually rounded to 3 cents. Now 15% expected tip out of that $1 is 15 cents, and then 30 cents. The 30 cents additional fee from each donation. If we add these three amounts, 3 cents plus 15 cents plus 30 cents, that is 48 cents, which well proves it's not free. It is not free for the account holders at the moment donations start coming in, for example, and it's definitely not free for donors to donate. They would have made more money if it would have been several donations of lesser amounts, because such fees are per transaction, per donation. Proceeding to the third example. I verified through the changes, and it permitted that I raise the amount as high as $100 million. As this third explanation, extremely important, I raised the amount to $100 million. But let me explain the discouragement which led me to completely delete the fundraiser. And I understand how donors get discouraged. And I understand in reality how unfair it would be for me. Please don't get upset if you're people from GoFundMe or the owner of GoFundMe. Please think yourself in my situation. I am the person in most need. I am the most affected. If there weren't as many things affecting us, it's obvious that, well, at least I personally wouldn't go as high. But we are a family of special circumstance that has been very affected and extremely discriminated years and years. Now, as an example regarding the $100 million, if someone would have been willing to do a one-time donation meeting the complete goal, here is the mathematical calculation according to the fees. 2.9% from $100 million as a one-time payment processing fee is $2,900,000. Now, 15% of the expected tip from I will explain once more. 15% of the expected tip out of $100 million is $15 million. And then if it would have been a one-time donation fee of the additional 30 cents, doing the sum of such numbers, $15 million plus $2,900,000 plus 30 cents. That's $17,900,000. Well, $17,900,000 and 30 cents. It well proves it's not free. Excuse me. I'm eating right now, so it's got some sauce on my paper. They would have gotten, if through one donation, over 17% gain profit, close to 18%, and way much more if the goal would have been met through multiple donations, because such fees are per donation. One of my main discouragements was that I went through the experience of trying to donate to my own account. That expected tip of the 15% that kept on populating, and I kept on trying it to move it to zero, but it wouldn't allow me. Like, you could move the bar to zero, but then I would automatically, at the time of trying to make payment, it would automatically populate to the 15%. It was very discouraging. Just, again, people, put yourself in my shoes. And if they've already made so much money, then why? By the way, it's a very clever way to make money. Extremely clever way to make money. Because either way you put it, either if it's through a situation of $1 or if it's a situation of a higher amount, the true gain and profit from this type of accounts fundraisers, which I've seen similar through various religions, through various other type of accounts, including online. And by personal experience, let me say that in numerous situations, we were so discriminated, we were so exploited financially, we were so abused, we were so cheated. Where similar situations to this would happen, but it was even worse through them, because they would keep the bigger amount and then they would give us a minimum percent out of the percentage gain that they would supposedly brag to people they got or they received. So it was terrible. It was horrendous how decades we were cheated different ways in different situations. And the discrimination, the ingratitude, how serious those things were throughout the years. I'm very innocent that hardly anyone has really been attentive to me, to have put attention to me, to try to understand the way I understand things. I mean, I'm very, possibly very blunt or straight out in explaining, and I have apologized numerous times if ever I've been incorrect or misguided, or if unintentionally someone has gotten upset or their feelings hurt and so forth. But we have been the most affected in numerous ways. And either if someone would have donated $1 or the $555,555 and or the $100 million, either way, it would have not been free for me, and definitely not been free for the donors. Through $1, through this proven and explained example, it would have almost been 48%. That's very close to 50% gain in profit. And through higher amounts, which is obviously more, even so the percentage is less, the amount is so much higher, as you can see. In a count of millions, it's obvious that their profit would have been, or their gain would have been millions. And in similar way with other type of amounts. And this situation reminds me so much regarding claims through lawsuits, settlements, compensations, causes, and cases. Pro se rights are extremely important. Throughout the decades, me and numerous additional relatives in our family were extremely discriminated from educating ourselves regarding pro se rights, regarding pro se due process rights, regarding pro se appeal rights, regarding numerous rights that every people should and must be entitled to. And there's so much abuse, there's so much exploitation, there's so much cheating against us victims, against us people affected, against us people impacted by injustices and by harm. Numerous lawyers cheated us and affected us, numerous agencies, numerous organizations, numerous associations, including and especially the ones that constantly would advertise free, including through the federal court systems and through other systems. It's false. They would do it free, especially when they were demanding thousands and thousands of dollars from us. Obviously, one was going to say no. That money was better used to buy food, especially at times we were out homeless on the streets, at times having to stay in motels or in hotels, or having to pay for every single expense at the same time. I mean, having to constantly be begging and insisting for assistance of food stamps, and years throughout we were discriminated, including from that Lone Star card or the prior food stamp program. It was terrible. It was horrible. Imagine at the same time going through so much discrimination, through thousands of injustices, extremely battered family by numerous aggressors that affected us and hurt us through domestic violence and through other matters in which we were and we have been completely innocent of. Terrible. Horrible. There is too much injustice, including through causes, through claims, through cases, through the so-called legal system, which is, I'm so affected. It's so much trauma. And throughout the decades, there's been so much injustice and trauma, so much cheating against me for insisting in pro se defense, that throughout the years we were hurt, harmed, and injured, including by people that bragged of being, and that some of them are, and bragged involvement in affecting us and cheating against us and prejudicing cases, causes, and claims affecting us because they were competing against us. We proved different ways much of their cheating against us, much of their involvement, much of their racism, how their hate towards us, and their injustice, including in charging, because just as there's some fair lawyers that charge a specific amount, Like, there's others that charge too much. And in addition to the lump sum charge that they charge, in some claims, especially if it ends up being a disability or additional situations, they expect to keep on gaining and gaining and getting, which is so abusive. If more people would really, really, really put attention to this type of situations, there would be more support to me, more assistance, more advocacy in my defense and in defense of other people regarding better establishments of fair rights to avoid abuse from exploitation, from abusive lawyers, from abusive firms, from abusive organizations, from abusive associations, including and especially the ones that abusively elongate cases for their better illicit enrichment. Yet the ones affected are us, the ones impacted by harm, by injustice, by so much pain, by hardships. And what makes it even worse is that numerous times they wouldn't even care about our needs. We've been through years and years, decades of harm, of hardships, of extreme poverships, at times being completely homelessness. Whether we try to seek assistance of organizations, of agencies, of places, of lawyers, and it's false. They cover every expense for you. And if ever anyone covered amounts, expenses, or donated, well, it's obvious that other people did fraud, or the same people doing those type of things, they cheated that. And what's even worse is that me, my sons, and additional family, we were the ones hurt. We were the ones affected. There has been extreme persecution, horrendous retaliation, thousands of injustices through hundreds of categories, attempts and attacks against our life, including through medical, including through some pharmaceutical, including through so-called accidents that instead of accidents were murder attempts against us in different other ways, including through torture, through extreme domestic violence. It's been horrendous. I would have not recurred to setting up such a type of fundraiser account if we wouldn't be so donated. A correction within this video. If we wouldn't be so affected, which we are. And I again publicly explained through this video, it's false that all of our needs have always been covered. Several of us look alike, but we're different people. There's several that have looked like my mother, several that have looked like my siblings, several that have looked like my sons. And then I've already explained of the additional extremely severe criminal alternatives that racist aggressors and identities recur to in effort to be affecting us and to be cheating us